Oh shit, it's the Call of Duty Modern Warfare trailer, not to be confused with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, or to imply that this game was already remastered 2.5 years ago with Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, which is really just a reimagining after adding in the most egregious filament and monetization schemes for a remaster of all time. Well, I guess when your other IPs have campaigns that end in cliffhangers, but nobody's remotely interested enough to see how the story continues because of how shitty the rest of the game was, or having the only character that you feel emotionally attached to is the emotionally devoid robot named Ethan with the most disliked video game trailer in YouTube history, that means you've got to exhume the corpses of the only characters that people actually give a shit about. Since it's reboots on the ground, the intro is the iconic all gillied up mission style, but this time of night to show off the fact that, yeah, night vision was a thing in the original COD 4 game, but the only time you ever used it was 3 seconds after spawning on wet work before inevitably being killed by a frag x3 or martyrdom grenade, and in rare cases, an actual airstrike that wasn't a perk. Oh, and there's the iconic Captain Price, who still hasn't learned his lesson about smoking cigars on night missions giving away your position before flicking it out in the forest, so now we all know how California wildfires are actually started. Great example there, Bravo 6 leader. Now, the rest of the trailer is filled with scenes of the team literally putting out those said fires that either directly or indirectly start because you know how messy war can be, since Infinity Ward is going the realistic route with this, much like the first Modern Warfare game was released due to how Michael Bayified the recent campaigns have been. And instead of going all Spinal Tap and cranking it up to 11, they're dialing it back a little bit. After a redux of Safe House, we finally get to see some new shit like skydiving, combing the desert without any hair care products, and police responding to terrorist attacks, all pre-rendered with the supposed new engine that we hear about every single year, as if we all don't know it's a bullshit PR way of spinning modifications and upgrades to the existing one that hopefully won't end in fish AI memes this time around. Then we go back to the stuff from the original Call of Duty 4, slightly altered, and the amount of minimal effort you come to expect from a Call of Duty game, like an A10 Warthog instead of Depth from Above's AC-130. Scenes from missions that look eerily similar to Ambush, Backlot, and Showdown, or Charlie Don't Surf, Shock and Awe, and The Coup, before throwing shade at Battlefield for not eventually implementing the promise that reveals soldier dragging mechanics, which brings me to the press release where one of the studio heads said there will be cross-platform play similar to Fortnite, and the elimination of the traditional season pass to, quote, deliver more maps and content as well as post-launch event to players. Sorry for being skeptical, but you can't really blame me after rumors of the now reviled Black Ops Pass not being a thing for multiplayer but only for zombies prior to launch that got people excited about things not being locked behind anachronistic monetization schemes, and having Vaughn write checks his ass couldn't cash when doing pre-launch interviews about not having characters being limited time only unlocks in Blackout, only to later say things changed and it wasn't his decision, nor was he in charge of how that all worked. So I'm not going to believe any of this until it actually happens, because this game is still published by Activision after all. With this game basically looking like a frankenfuck of the original COD 4 released 12 years ago, and already having pre-order editions upselling for COD points and different operator packs, I can already see the trajectory of where this is going based on how Black Ops 4 has been thus far with Activision, spelled with a $, preying on nostalgia at every turn, considering that those operator packs are named after missions from the original Modern Warfare released over a decade ago, and like they did 2.5 years ago with Modern Warfare Reimagined, being used to artificially inflate revenue for a game that nobody wanted.